Hello, this is Bob Gutman for my third podcast, Political Profiles, which is part of our transatlanticmagazine.com. I hope you come and look at transatlanticmagazine.com on the web. Right now I'm getting ready to teach my elections course for University of Virginia. It starts in about a half hour. Then in the fall I'll be teaching again in graduate school at Johns Hopkins on the pre-primary phase of the campaign. So we had 4th of July, which the president tried to politicize, bringing tanks in, talking about airports during the Revolutionary War, which mainly shows that he doesn't know history, he doesn't read his speech, and he blames it on the rain in his teleprompter when something happens. Anyway, America is a symbol, it's an idea, it's a city on a hill. It's the ideas of freedom, equality, independence. It's not about tanks. Obviously, the military is a big part of keeping us free and safe, but we're not a third world country where we need tanks in the street and planes to fly overhead to show that we're a military power. We're the world's largest military power. I think everybody knows that. Anyway, I think the president's speech on Independence Day was not needed. I hope they don't do it next year. We always go to a baseball game, and then we always go to the Capitol 4th, which is good music on the 4th, good rock and roll, good group. Carole King was there. And people just relax and have fun. So I don't know why the president did this except for his own ego. I don't think he understands Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson. I don't think he understands any of that. This is about him, me. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good 4th of July. And now we have second round of presidential debates coming up. We just had Representative Swalwell drop out of the race, so he's the first Democrat to drop out. Probably most of you out there don't even know who he is because he wasn't in very long. His main claim to fame was he mainly badgered Joe Biden during the first debate, saying he passed the torch. He was trying to let everybody know how young he was and how old Biden was. I thought it was very simplistic and actually very rude. So Swalwell's out. He's going to go back and run for Congress in California. But today we had the billionaire guy hedge fund billionaire, who you see on TV all the time, who's talking about impeaching the president. Just what we need, another crazy billionaire. And today we had a billionaire from 1990s, H. Ross Perot, who actually I don't have it in front of me, but I think he had the highest or one of the highest vote totals for any third party candidate in American history. So he did very well when he ran. He had a voice that was very squeaky, and he got his appeal. As I said, today, 2019, the candidates are all going on CNN, having town halls. Back then in the early 90s, H. Ross Perot got his start by being on Larry King. Larry King used to be a very well-known person that had a show at 9 o'clock, and he interviewed people. And H. Ross Perot used to go on and talk about that big sucking sound that was taking all the jobs and taking them to Mexico. So H. Ross Perot passed away today at 89. As I said, he got a lot of votes. He probably cost George Herbert Walker Bush the election in 92. He didn't seem to like the Bush family. And Clinton got more votes, even though he was a minority president, thanks to Perot. So if Perot hadn't been in 92, George H.W. Bush might want a second term, but that's history. So rest in peace, H. Ross Perot. You added color to our politics. Anyway, we have the next debate coming up. I watched the Bidens, Jill and Joe Biden on Cuomo last night on CNN. They were very good. I think Joe, the former vice president, needs to be knowledgeable that people are out to get him because he's number one in the polls. So the others like Kamala and Elizabeth Warren need to move up in the polls. So we'll probably see more aggressive people in the next poll in July. Then I don't think we'll see much in August. Most everybody will be on vacation. The candidates will be going around to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. And I think by the time we have the debate after the next one in September, we'll see some more people drop out. It's much better for the public to try to get a handle on where people stand when there's 3 or 4 people rather than 20. So I think all these people have some good thoughts. I think the governor of Washington is talking about climate change, but that's a one-issue candidate. Like this guy who got in, Steyer, billionaire, he'll be talking about impeaching Trump. So everybody needs to keep their focus on Trump, what a terrible president he is, how he goes against American norms. He's basically an anti-American president. I mean, it's just bizarre. His collusion with Russia is just outrageous. You wouldn't expect this with any other president. His love of dictators. It's just sad. Anyway, I think the Democrats need to keep their focus on the game being winning the election in 2020. And the game is to beat Trump. And Trump is beatable, but the latest polls show he's moving up. And if the economy stays good, it's going to be very hard for the Democrats to win. So they can't get down in the dirt with Trump. I think the polls now show, the latest Washington Post poll, shows Biden is the only one who can beat Trump, and Biden needs to stay honest, decent. And I think Americans kind of hunger for an honest, decent person. Just read the latest issue of The Economist today about conservatism has kind of died out, and the people like Trump are not conservatives at all. They're populists, they're reactionaries, and the same with some countries in Europe and around the globe. So people need to keep their eye on the ball and quit thinking about, did Biden jaywalk 40 years ago? Did Biden favor busing? Busing's not really an issue in the 2020 election. So keep your eye on the ball, and hopefully some more people will drop out. It looks like others are dropping in the game. Maybe Michael Bloomberg will get in the game. Who knows? So the goal is Democrats, beat Trump. This thing, just before I leave, the British ambassador said the president's incompetent, inept, and dysfunctional because somebody found his emails back to the foreign ministry in England. Duh. Does anybody think any other ambassador or any thinking American doesn't think the same thing? We have an inept, incompetent, dysfunctional president. So more power to the British ambassador, who the president says is stupid. Whenever the president doesn't like anybody, they're stupid. Or if they're the New York Times or CNN, they're failing. I mean, he's so predictable. I'm not going to deal with the British ambassador. Do you really deal with the British ambassador? You uninvited him to a party last night, but really, there'll be a new British government soon under Boris Johnson or some other conservative, and they'll have a new ambassador. But the president has to make a big deal of it, make sure he has the last word. So if there's any ambassador out there that doesn't think the American president is inept, incompetent, dysfunctional, write me at ourgovernment@jhu.edu, and I'll try to convince you otherwise. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you next week for the 4th podcast. Maybe we'll put some interesting events behind us. Maybe I'll put a picture of Thomas Jefferson. Thank you. Good night.